heard clapping and I thought I'd appear. Good evening. I'm afraid that dialect poetry is in the air again. The thing has cropped up in one or two books of verse published recently. One day, I'm going to go to some remote country to mug up a dialect. I shall produce a book of verse entirely in that dialect, and the London critics will be unable to understand it, not a word of it. And therefore, not knowing whether it's good or bad, they'll wait for the lead from some local newspaper, which I shall have bought. The review in it will be so favourable that the London critics will plunge, and somebody, I hope, perhaps Mr. Dunderhead in the morgue, will say, what, for instance, could be more beautiful than this verse from Gowlin? Ein bein bard night zammer, zombie girded through narn listu, boy cruel and the glutton the glummer, Rinny pinch the zag out marn the school, round the bain the armor and the gouser, nither some villain arm with the scarf, me and thee and I riding the mouser, carrying iron fucking arm the hop. Which brings me to our new feature called Come Into the Kitchen with Mrs. Whelkstuffer. Author of Peas I Have Known and Irish Stew in the Name of the Law. I dined with Mrs. Whelkstuffer and her husband last week, and after I'd eaten the meal, I heard her turn to her husband and say, he's eaten it. Mrs. Whelkstuffer.
Now here is recipe number 184 from my amazing Radio 1 cookbook. Turned turtle. Take a turtle, turn it. Next week, a tunny fish traviata. Good night and many thanks.
Now, here for lovers of do-it-yourself is, as you can see, a clock without hands or figures. Now, the correct time can be written on the clock face at any moment, day or night, simply by checking with an ordinary clock or watch. Any questions? No, right. As the sage of Ashby de la Zeus once said, there's no time like the past, time which gives us jokes like this, I'm afraid.
Good morning, sir. Oh, yes. You're the gentleman who bought the parrot last week. Well, and didn't he live up to my promise that he'd learn anything you taught him? Then, what's the matter with him? The damn thing stutters.
What? Right. Yes. Right. The question of illegible prescriptions due to bad writing by doctors has come up again. A case has come to notice of a man who used his prescription twice as a pass into the House of Commons, 4 times as a motor license, once as the national flag of Finland, once as an income tax return, twice as a love letter, and 3 times as an article on athlete's foot for a daily paper. He then had it made into a fan, got it played as the first violin part in Aida in the provinces, and finally sold it as an autograph letter from Mrs. Hilda Gronk, number 3 Ironside Villa, Scunthorpe. Quick! Everyone round to Dr. Rhubarb.
Well?
My little boy, age 6, already has 84 teeth, but he cannot whistle through them. What should I do?
Enjoy your luck while it lasts.
How do the Chinese eat their gravy with chopsticks?
They dip them into the gravy and then suck them dry. Any idiot knows that. Next.
I can play a sort of tune on my teeth by flipping them with a fork. But my mother-in-law-to-be, she hates it. She says it's vulgar. Now my fiancée has broken off our engagement. What can I do to put things right?
Next time you play, use a carving knife. What, another one? Or what is it?
My husband, when in a gay mood, persists in producing a live mouse from his hat when he goes out. How can I stop him?
Put a cat in his hat when he comes in. Next.
My nostrils quiver when I'm angry. Can it be cured?
Yes. Wedge them open with paper clips. Next.
I'm badly in need of a cure for beetles in my back room. Can you help me?
Beetles? Well, what are they suffering from? If it's only some nervous complaint, they should be left alone and not bothered. Come to that, so should I. Good night. Right.
if you don't like the show, now is the moment to protest. Every letter you write will be ignored personally by me, thrown into a dustbin at once. And every telephone call will be traced and the caller hounded to the ends of the earth by button-swinging sex maniacs. Stay where you are, lad. I'll be with you. Here, as abundant as ever is rolling milk.
A poem I call Sorrow of Earth. I asked of heaven only a poet's boon. Fade night, I murmured, and oh, dawn, come soon. And at that moment tumbled down a hole almost exclusively reserved for coal.
I have been attempting something in the style of Roll and Milk. The nearest I could get to it is something like this. There was a young man of Bombay on a slow boat to China one day. He was trapped in the tiller by a sex-crazed gorilla, and China's a long, long way. Now, here's an item I came across today. It describes a motor safari in Africa, and it says, driving in the dark one night, I came upon a hippopotamus which refused to move. I accelerated and showered the beast in mud. Whenever I meet a hippopotamus at night, I pretend to mistake him for a man called Grant Massington. Hello, Grant Massington, I say. Last time I did it, it was Grant Massington. He said good evening, and I was so surprised I forgot to shoot him. Another item in my paper complains that there is too much violence in films. Is there? The best man to answer that is Sol Hogwash, the Hollywood producer whose latest tough films include The Cincinnati Grandmother Strangler, The Nude Nun Story, Carry On Vicar. And here he is speaking from Hollywood.
We are aware of this violence problem industry-wise, and we at Hogwash Productions are hip, sensitivity-wise, to criticism. With that in mind, I have laid down the following code, which all our writers are being urged to follow. 1. When women are beaten up, the scene should not go on for more than 4 minutes. After that, their groans will tell the audience what is happening. Some things must be left to the imagination. 2. If the heroine has to kick a wounded man below the waist, 2 or 3 kicks are enough. 3. A cripple's head should not be split open with a gun butt. Bottles must be used. Finally, to make violence more acceptable to the public at large, it is our intention to use Miss Julie Andrews in all our forthcoming productions.
By the way, the next Hogwash epic will be with Disney in Bible Land. For this, he's building a life-size plastic replica of Israel in the Arizona desert. The cast is as follows. The Virgin Mary, Jesse Matthews. Joseph, Dudley Moore. The Angel Gabriel, Louis Armstrong. Mary Magdalene before is played by a personal friend of Hogwash, and Mary Magdalene after by Anna Neagle. Now here is another Hogwash anecdote.
Hello? Growth fever and munch? That Louis the 14th bed you sold me is too short. Get me a Louis the 15th.
The church bells are softly tolling over meadow and thicket and fen. A clergyman stands at the lich gate. Oh, when are they coming? Oh, when? But no sign of his congregation, for a vicar cannot hope to get an adequate church attendance if he won't wear a garterette.
Yes, for church unity and taut socks, you'll have to go a long way before you find anything to compare with a Threadgold Thorough-Grip Garterette.
Threadgold Thorough-Grip, Threadgold Thorough-Grip, Threadgold Thorough-Grip Garterettes.
And now, our third graphic installment of Life at Bolton Wine Fevers.
For many years now, I have had the pleasure of working for my master Lord Shortcake in the capacity as head aquarium keeper. The house is full of fish, you know. Dace, pike and mullet, skate, all those things. But my lordship has a great fear of one of the fish catching fire. And I said that's very silly, sir, because they can't catch fire because they're in water. And he said, ships are in water and they catch fire. So I've had to go around and fix a fire alarm on every fish, and when it's windy, I have to wear this hat. He's mad about fish, you know. He's mad about fish, you know. His greatest ambition is to make a film about a goldfish. A goldfish. Coming, my lord. Coming, my lord. Coming, my lord.
Travers, I thought of a title for our new film. It's brilliant. Brilliant.
What's it called, my lord?
Goldfish.
Just goldfish?
What's wrong with it?
Well, it's a little stark for the title of a film, my lord. It ought to have a more dramatic and romantic name, like, what about The Mystery World of Copradius Aurelius and Company Limited? Well, no. How about Little Wonders of the Deep?
Little Wonders of the Deep?
Yeah.
Sounds like dwarfs diving for pearls. No, the title has got to be Goldfish. Goldfish.
Just goldfish.
Goldfish.
But what about the human interest, my lord?
I don't want any human interest.
But then there's the background music to be considered.
I don't want any background music, and I don't want any trick photography. Just fish.
Just fish.
Fish. Just fish. Roaming round, swimming round and round and round. Now, if that isn't entertainment, I don't know what is. The touch of DeMille about that, you know.
Touch of DeMille.
DeMille. You know DeMille, don't you?
DeMille?
You should know DeMille.
Touch of DeMille. All right, then. Come on, Lana, my girl. He's going to make a film star out of you. Right, my lord. Come on now, my dear. Come on now. You'll be another Esther Williams. He's balmy. He's balmy.
And now, hot from the press, next Tuesday's weather. This chart has been compiled by Abracadabra, the meteorological magician with a tuning fork, who regrettably is not with us tonight, as he fell off the Air Ministry roof and fractured his trousers. The Occult cult is with us again. There are manifestations in Bude, levitation is rife at Eton, witches' covens convene in Market Harbour, and you can get O-levels in black magic. The chocolates with the squiggles on contain raspberry-flavoured ectoplasm. And something else. Poltergeist are supposed to be plaguing the studio. Having trouble? Now then, with all this in mind, we thought you'd like you to meet the well-known medium, Mrs. Macacchetti. You would? Good. Now all press your buttons, and you'll be transported as if by forklift truck to the front room of the Laurels, Upper Norwood. Where's that?
Is there anybody there? Is there anybody there? Rap once for yes, rap twice for no. Is there anybody there? Quiet! I think somebody is trying to break through. Are you the bright spirits from across the water? Are you speaking to us from the great beyond? Travelers from the astral planes.
Well, not exactly. I was just trying to hang a picture.
Better luck next time, Mrs. Macacchetti. She has just published a book which she says, and who would no doubt her... I'll try again. She's just published a book which has been dictated to her, she says, whilst in a trance by Milton. Now, if the dead are going to start writing books, the Sunday papers will have to start using dead book reviewers, or at least use ones that have got phrases like this. This novel has placed Mrs. Twist in the front rank of our dead writers. Or, there's nobody else dead who could have written this stuff. Mrs. McAketty has also been taking spirit photographs. We sent her to interview Mervyn Glue to interview her.
Is another world watching us? Let us investigate. Tell me, Mrs. McAketty, when did you first start taking spirit photographs?
I took my first one quite by chance, Mr. Glue. It was a snapshot of Dawlish. When the photograph was developed, however, one could see there quite clearly the ethereal figure of a deck chair attendant from Bognor.
Deceased?
Fit as a fiddle. I had forgotten to wind on the film.
Great oaks from little acorns grow. What was your next experience of spirit photography?
Snaps of the beyond is what I prefer to call them, Mr. Glue. Now here in this album, you see, here we have a photo of a pussy who has since passed away as a result of a steamroller.
How tragic.
Not so, Mr. Glue. Tittles lives on. His emanations are all around us. But I want you to see here in the corner of the photograph. Look, it's quite clear. Do you see? A dancing fairy. Now, if that is not clear evidence of another spiritual being, I'm the Queen of Sheba. And next, we have a picture here of the tabby from number 3. And once again, you see a wraith-like figure seeming to dance tippy-toes on Mr. Jenkins's rhubarb. Over here, a picture of the milkman's ginger tom.
What is that in the corner of the photograph? It looks remarkably like St. Pancras railway station.
Yes, Mr. Glue, I am at a loss to explain that. Unless, of course, it could be that St. Pancras himself is trying to tell us something.
From the Twilight Zone, this has been Mervyn Glue.
That was Mervyn Glue, the man of whom it has often been said, but never proved. Never, never. And now dancing notes from our own ballet correspondent, Eric Badger, the man who doth straddle the dancing world like a gnat. Eric Badger.
Is ballet becoming too athletic? I ask this because of last Wednesday night's production of Giselle by the visiting Pushover Ballet Company, which was more like an acrobat's reunion than the sylvan tragedy we've all come to know and love so well. Tamara Rumpover's Giselle would have been more at home on a unicycle, and Knockemover's reading of The Queen of the Willies looked like a vigorous workout with Indian clubs. As for Prince Albrecht, here was a real case of athlete's foot. But not so La Belle Tumbleover, who last night with Serge Trouserin bewitched Covent Garden audiences with her rendering of Clarice in Chuck-a-Survivor's new autobiographical ballet, La Reine Ancienne, the ancient queen. Ravissant was not the word, and here to prove it is un petit bijou from her performance.
Good evening, music lovers. The Snibbo Bach Ensemble brings you the music of the spheres.
Yes,
every canister of Snibblepit underarm roulette brings you the same comfort as the works of the mighty Johann Sebastian. Be at ease in mind and body with the knowledge that Snibbo can cater for your every underarm need. Bach will not cure freckles or polish tables, but Snibbo can. So listen to Bach's immortal melodies the Snibbo way, without that gnawing voice of conscience that says,
Why do I go about all covered in freckles? And why are my tables so dirty, while Mrs. Gaffney sparkle?
and so Snibbo affects even the soul.
This very night, I will rub the soup stains off my husband's boots with Snibbo.
Good old Bach.
Good old Snibbo.
Use Snibbo.
I just want to say something before Punch can get hold of it. It is reported that motor cars manufactured in Britain this year will run into millions. No doubt they will. Now, do you enjoy that sort of joke? If so, you can easily have a few more whenever you feel like it. Instead, let us contemplate the latest scientific impostures of that great inquirer after truth, Dr. Strabismus, whom God preserve, of Utrecht.
Single bloom never rises lightly. Oh, indeed. In my series of experiments on testing the Proverbs, we have tackled many of the old saws that have been passed down from generation to generation until the handle fell off. Our filmed experiments of the saying, if you cannot beat them, join them, is now showing in a disreputable cinema in the Soho on a double bill with another of our ventures on the subject, A Bird in the Hand. The two in the bush are still being questioned by the police. The director is getting a practical demonstration of the fallacy that stone walls do not a prison make. In his case, they do. Tonight's experiment concerns another old proverb.
Soft words, butter no parsnips. Ooh.
The
other didn't work, nothing's been working. Only stayed a whole day with those stupid busted parsnips. Never mind about the bus one.
Now then, sit on the chair, get on the chair, silly boy. Now then, what's soft words but no parsnips? Now then, good. Ready? Now then, in my left hand I'm holding a parsnip.
I don't like parsnips.
Shut up! In my left hand I'm holding a parsnip. In my other left hand I hold half a pound of golden melody, creamy, rich, pure dairy butter substitute, consisting of 98% pure margarine and 10% pure sawdust. And now for the soft words. Here we have eine Courting-Couple. Here we have the... Here we have the courting novel. If you take your positions over there on the right-hand side of the table, I will open the butter and put it as close as possible to the parsnips, so when it gets the urge, it won't have so far to go. Lemons actor. Market. Market.
Soft words, butter no parsnips, take one.
Action.
Rita, you set a man's blood on fire.
Oh, Edwin, your every glance brings a blush to my damask cheek.
Your hair is like spun silk.
Oh, your nostrils turn my knees to water.
My angel.
Oh, adored one.
Cherub.
Adonis.
Bubbles.
Poppykins.
Snookums.
Dickums.
Boojums.
Cut.
Has it worked?
No, but 3 of the parsnips have been sick. And we must use softer words. We will start with blank mange, foam rubber, putty, gooey gravy, moist marshmallows, grovelly glue, grovelly glue, Turkish Delight, melting soft putty mixed with Turkish Delight and soft stuff, dripping stuff, very, very, very treacly, sweet, schmaltzy stuff then. Oh, we must hurry, the light is going, Heinrich. Mark it.
A soft word, butter no parsnips.
Take 2041. Right, action. Mushy marshmallows. Prickly toffee. Warm, wet chocolate. Limp lychees. Shut up that snoring, will you? Finally, cool, creamy custard. Cool, creamy custard. Cut. We reached the end of the conclusion that soft words butter no parsnips. It also proves that butter is death.
Oh, by the way, in last week's feature on the price of milk, for horses, read cows throughout. And finally, an anecdote. An old peer recently decided to take a more active part in political life, and a friend hearing this said, well, you must try and mix with the people, get to know them. I don't suppose you've ever even been on the inside of a bus. And he said, no, I haven't. So next day he caught a bus, sat down, and gazing solidly in front of him. The conductor approached, and he said in a loud, firm voice, 143 Belgrave Square and hurry. Right.